Good morning. This is Bill from Auto Europa Naples on a lovely Florida Friday. This week has been muggy, it's been nasty, hot weather. Finally, a little front came through last night and we're enjoying weather in the 70s today. It's going to be very pleasant and that makes me happy. I'm also happy to have this 2008 Mercedes, good Lord, I'm telling you, we're off to a bad start already. 2008 Jaguar XJ, and this particular one is the long wheelbase model. This is internally dubbed by Jaguars the X358. It was a refresh of the X350 model, which even though it looks very traditional, which is something I'm very appreciative of, it was a giant leap forward in terms of engineering and structural quality from Jaguar. In fact, it was the first Jaguar that was made entirely by the Ford Motor Company in terms of nuts and bolts, top to bottom, computer controls, engine controls, everything. This car was essentially all done by Ford, and of course that is a good thing. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning. And to me, and I think a lot of people would have to agree with this, it is the last real Jaguar. I know this has been the trend of the videos lately. We've done over there the last real Eldorado, the last real Cadillac Brougham. This is the last real Jaguar. I'm sure Jaguars today are very nice, they're lovely, they're proper cars, but they really don't look anything like what I think of when I think of a Jaguar. When you look at this car, it looks like something Sir William Lyons would have put together. Of course, the founder of Jaguar, the guy who in 1922 made the Swallow Sidecar Company with another guy named Walmsley, although he left very quickly. And Jaguar just became oh my God, I don't know what you'd call it, just the quest of this guy, William Lyons, to turn it into one of the finest cars in the world. And he did a fantastic job fighting the odds the whole way. He made Jaguar a very successful company. And I mean, it could have gone the way of Crosley or Nash or, any other company that, built cars for a while and then vaporized. Jaguar did hold true. In many ways, to me, it's the British Maserati in that regard. That's another company that probably shouldn't be around today, but it is, and so is Jag. You can see the styling of this car is gorgeous. This very high belt line. People like that for safety, I guess, but they lowered the greenhouse, they stretched it out, they gave it those swooping, subtle British curves that have made Jaguar so beautiful for many years. And it does very much hold many styling cues from all the original Jaguar Saloons dating back to the 1950s. The Series 1 even. Yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful car. It's made almost entirely of aluminum. That was one of the great leap forwards, no pun intended, in this car. The entire body, the monocoque, everything on the upper half and lower half of the car is aluminum, with the exception of these subframes for the front and rear suspension. So the car is very light for a big car, and that's why it can get away with having a motor that's not, it's not bad, like 300 horsepower, but by today's standards, it's, Camry V6 level. But being such a light car, it does have enough juice to keep it going, and is very nimble as well. So you can see the 4 round lights up front, gorgeous, absolute Jaguar style. They made sort of a mesh interlaced grille there that's very pretty. They came under some fire for the bumper treatment on this car, the 358, the facelift. They say that front bumper from the grille, the top grille down, looks exactly like an M3 bumper, which I suppose it does, and I don't care because it actually looks really good on the car. I love the power hump, the bulge in the middle of the hood, the swooping body lines going back from those round lamps. To me, it's just absolutely lovely. Very, very Jag, very proper. Nice judicious use of chrome on the car. They'd obviously toned the chrome down a little bit from earlier Jags, but left enough of it to keep even the traditionalists happy. They even added these little vents on the side of the fenders called power vents with a little Jaguar logo. And I do think they break up the body sides quite nicely and give it a lovely touch. Nice big alloy wheels on there. You can see they extended the rocker panels down a little bit. That gave it more of a sporty look and really increased the width of the belt line. And because this is a long wheelbase version, it's adding like an extra 5 inches just to the rear. That's the only place it's been added. Look at the length of that back door. I mean, it's absolutely insane. You know, in the United States, these really didn't get any kind of limousine service, but in Europe, this would have been considered very much a limousine. And as often as not, the guy who owned it would be riding around in the back seat, barking commands at some unhappy chauffeur while they're on their way to a nice country cottage to molest the chambermaids. You can see they gave it a nice little rear decklet spoiler, just a hint of sportiness to it. Big chrome strip across the back that says Jag. Lovely chrome trim around those taillights, a mixture of LED and incandescence. You got big twice pipes at the bottom. You see the bumper has the backup sensors. The muscular curves, very subtle, but they're nice. You know, little hump here flowing down into a tapered tail. This thing is very true to the original Jaguar designs and just gorgeous to look at. Anyway, let's get into it. Jaguar, of course, began as the Swallow Sidecar Company, but they had to change their name. They became then SS Cars, which obviously didn't work very well after World War II. That had some unpleasant connotations. So they I can't remember, they bought the name Jaguar for someone let them use it or whatnot. They already were using it, and that has been their name forever since, and it's a terrific name for the car. Now look, this is not a boot, okay? I get it. In England, this is a boot, and it's fine. It can be a boot in England. But if you're an American in America, please don't be one of these people who calls it a boot, okay? Don't be ridiculous. It just is a trunk, which is what it should be. If you pick up this little plastic guy, you can hook that over the top, and there's a nice full-size spare, very proper battery in the back that helps with weight distribution. Over here you got a little compartment where you had stuff, if there was stuff. Otherwise, it's just a nice place to put some extra clips for your 9mm or, you know, some sort of device to keep things going. But anyway, nice big trunk. Even if a little bit shallow, you're still going to be able to fit a bunch of stuff in there. Very, very nice stuff. Also has a little electric suck down when you close it. I can't believe it. I tell them every time, RD, take off these stupid blind spot mirrors. Hate them. Just set your mirrors properly, and you don't need blind spot mirrors. I do like all of the monochrome this car has. Let's see if I can actually open the trunk in this thing, or the hood. It's a little bit funky. I don't know why I had trouble with these hoods lately. I didn't before, and now I do. Yeah, can't do it. We're not even going to get in the hood here. Oh, for the love of God. There it is. Jesus. Okay, here is a 4.2-liter V8, again designed by Ford, corporate, a little over 300 horsepower, very torquey, very nice, and when it's mated with all of that aluminum stuff, it becomes more than adequate to push the car down the road. A nice, silky, smooth engine, and that's mated to a very smooth 6-speed automatic, which shifts perfectly and is a lovely drivetrain in the car. This hasn't been up north, so you don't see any of the crusty, rusty stuff, which is nice. All the little bolts here, lovely. You can see it has sensors going to the struts. That's part of Jaguar's air suspension. I think this has the CAT system, they call it, which you know, helps keep the car planted on the road. But anyway, nice proper engine under the hood of this car. Hood. Hood, not a bonnet. It can be a bonnet in Surrey, but it's not a bonnet here. Okay, let's open this giant back door, and you can tell that your Canadians are going to be thrilled. They can be 6'5" and still have adequate legroom, which is wonderful. Beautiful black leather. Jaguar always uses the nicest materials. The thing that I like about these cars is they offered a lovely, elegant alternative to the stern, angry luxury that you found in German cars. I mean, Germans are very stern and angry in the way they make their luxury. They're not welcoming, per se. The Jaguars always just had this feeling of walking into a lovely old men's club in Britain with wood-paneled walls and brandy on the shelf and guys in tweed jackets talking about their Indian and African expeditions. It just had a lovely feel to it. The smell, the look, the quality, the wood is just nicer than it is in other comparable cars, even though these had a lower price tag. Lovely little chrome surrounds and tidbits. You get an actual ashtray of sorts there. And anyway, all just very, very lovely stuff. The rear seats are heated, so on a cold Coventry morning, you'll be able to warm yourself up very nicely. There's also some sort of a center console here. Let's see how it goes for gun storage. Not good. You're not going to be able to fit much in there, but a couple of pens. Let's see in the back. Yeah, same thing. It's maybe you squeeze one in. And I don't know what kind of cups fit in these cup holders, but they're going to be pretty small. Either way, you'll probably be pretty chipper back there and happy enough to be riding around. So, nice spot in the back. Lovely big chrome door handles. I love it. Beautiful supportive leather seats. And again, the rich smells you get out of Jaguar leather. Nice detailing. Oh, God, he gets a C+ on this one at best. And here he is again with those loud, ridiculous pipes. He bought a motor for his Miata, and he's been driving around with it in there. There he's now revving it up. He has 10 feet to travel, so he hits the gas, of course. He's been driving around with this ridiculous motor in the back for a week. No good reason at all. Anyway, if I get into it, I'm going to drive myself apeshit. So, anyway, everything lovely. Again, with all the little chrome surroundy bits. This is all Ford. The plastic stuff is all Ford, but then to make it a Jag, they give it that lovely little chrome surround, which is nice. And they had a choice of woods in this. This looks like walnut or something, and it's just nice. You get Alpine speakers, again, with the lovely chrome surround. And just a very, very pretty car to look at. I quite like it in triple black as well, like this one. It takes a car that's elegant and adds a layer of sinisterness to it. The car looks very sinister. You put black windows on this thing, pull up somewhere in the dead of night, and whoever you're pulling up to probably is going to feel like they're going to get machine gunned to death by one of the Cray brothers. All right, so let's hop in. Nice quality sound from the door close. Got our seatbelt on so it doesn't beep at us. And we'll see what we got. Let's fire it up. Okay, lovely little muted growl from that V8. Lovely big swoop. Look at those two nitwits. God even knows what they're up to. I don't want to think about it. At least they're not limping around today. They usually look like the Night of the Living Dead when they show up in the morning. I don't know what's wrong with snowflakes and millennials, but they just don't have the same pep in their step that, we older generations did when we went to work in the morning. I didn't love going to work in the morning when I was a kid and, sweeping rocks at the dealership and whatever else I had to do. But at least I didn't limp around like Night of the Living Dead and act miserable all the time. So, I don't know. These guys need to cheer up. Anyway, you've got this lovely wood and leather steering wheel. You have what's called now a growler looking at you. This replaced the leaper on a lot of Jags. The leaper was that thing on the hood that used to disembowel pedestrians. Kind of a big little chrome cat. Big little. I like that. That was hooked in such a way as to really dig into the intestines of whatever pedestrian you ran over. And that would just create a mess. The whole car would get bloody, sinew, tissue, intestines. You'd get a really big detail bill out of it. So eventually they made those break away, so if they were hit, they would kind of snap off, but now they just did away with them almost entirely. You do have a lovely little elegant instrument cluster that harkens back to earlier Jags. It's got a lovely wood surround, nice little tiny chrome trim around the gauges. This thing has some miles on 114, still runs nice though. They really did make a nice car. And just the gauges you need, all very, very proper. Over here, a little thing for your trip odometers and the lighting displays, front and rear fog lights, a valet switch. So you pull up to a valet in this car and they're happier than if you pull up in a German car. It has more elegance to it. I think they like that. But anyway, you get that. You also get a weird little compartment down here, which would be a nice place to stick a 9mm if it would fit, but it won't. So you're probably just going to have to put a switchblade in there or something small that you'd be able to use in a pinch and a weapon. Again, lovely leather stitched steering wheel. You got multi-function stuff for the cruise and the radio. You got all your stalks exactly where you'd expect them. That's fine. Over here you've got sort of a horseshoe shaped center console hump that gives you your climate control. We talked the other day about how the oldie station is playing music that I might like, which is really disconcerting. Well, thank God that's not going on now. That's some annoying crap. So that makes me happy. But anyway, you've got your dual side climate control. You've got this row of switches here. You've got your cool seats, your hot seats, your automatic speed limiter. That's important in England because they have all those federal government speed camera death traps where you're going to get tickets just automatically from some mechanical contrivance. So this thing will warn you or not let you go over a certain speed if you set it properly. Again, your climate control, a lot of people didn't like the lack of technology in these cars compared to the German cars of the same time that had like the iDrives and the mouse systems and the hell with it. I think it's fine because I think most of the buyers for these cars are not necessarily looking to post their crap on Instagram or TikTok, so they're just happy having a nice radio, maybe hooking up the phone to it. You have a CD down there, lovely, and everything very, very nice. You also get a genuine proper ashtray, very, very elegant. You get this J shifter. Why are we getting that? What's with the beeping? Why? What the hell is that all about? Anyway, you get this J shifter, which is, historically relevant. Jaguars for years had that. It was an attempt at sportiness, which may have worked well in the 50s, but just seems dumb today. There's no reason at all to shift this car manually. Put it in drive. The transmission is excellent, and you can, determine what gear you want to be in with your right foot. Never been a big fan of electric parking brakes, but this has one. So, to set it, you pull it up to... There's the light. Turn it off, you push it down. That just seems like something that's going to break to me. You have a little sliding center console here. If you slide it back, you get more of these tiny little cup holders. And then if you open that up, you finally do have a nice little place for your Walther PPK. Another pet peeve, I don't like electric release glove boxes. It just seems like something that's going to break. Give me a handle, but whatever. There it is, and it's an excuse to have another chrome button. Up here you have a self-dimming mirror with a compass in it, so you always know what direction you're heading. You get, your light controls, your HomeLink garage door stuff, little place to put sunglasses. Very, very nice, and of course a nice big power sunroof that's glass with a shade. So you'll be able to let in some of that lovely British weather. And let's go for a spin. I love looking down the long, sleek hood of that car with the power bump in the middle. Again, hearkening back to early Jaguars and just feeling lovely. I'll tell you what Jaguar is. What's really nice about driving this big car, which by the way was like 20 grand less than an S-Class and, infinitely more elegant. But Jaguar very nicely balances the feel between a Lexus, which is just too cushy, too soft, too uninvolved with the driver, and a Mercedes, which again has sort of this stern, firm approach to luxury. I mean, it has a nice ride, but it's not a buttery ride like this. And Jaguar, again, just perfectly blends that buttery ride, that lovely silence inside, the detachment from the road, while at the same time giving you a level of sportiness. You do feel like the car, has some handling to it, the way any Jaguar should. Nice torque out of that V8. Again, plenty. The car doesn't weigh anything. It's like less than 4,000 pounds. I mean, compared to an S-Class, it's Karen Carpenter. I feel that. I mean, you are not going to be wanting for more juice under the hood. It gives you a very, very nice acceleration curve. You get a nice growl, just enough sound from the pipes, not enough to be, you know, gauche or, you know, feel like a commoner or something, a street courier, but enough to where, you know, you got some pep under there. It's a car very well suited to the lords and ladies, like those old Rover V8s. The seats, nice, supportive, lovely feel to them. Beautiful throttle control, lovely variation on the pedal. Just nice, nice, nice. Good feel from the brakes. Steering, responsive, lovely, connected. Not any of this crappy drive-by-wire stuff. That is a direct connection between you and the front wheels, as it should be in a car. Kick down. Listen to this thing. I mean, very, very nice. Very reminiscent of the Jaguars of old. I think I've missed my turn. Maybe I can get around here. I'm going to try it. People are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And again, nice turning radius. You know, it doesn't feel like a sports car, but it doesn't feel like a Luxo barge either. It just responds very well to spirited driving, much better than you would think for a car like this. And of course, that's part of that aluminum monocoque stuff. Very stiff, very advanced. You know, the best that Ford had to come up with at the time. Reliability is pretty good of these things. You know, Jaguar unfairly suffers from a past reputation the way Mercedes unfairly benefits from a past reputation. Jaguar's been building pretty damn reliable cars for decades now, and they really don't get credit for it. There's still a lot of guys out there, oh my God, a Jaguar, that thing's going to be in the shop for days and weeks. You might as well buy two of them so you always have one to drive. That just isn't the case, and it hasn't been the case for many, many years. Ford did sell Jaguar in 2008 to an Indian company called, Tata or Tatra or something. And, you know, they modernized. They made these things look very, very different from the traditional Jaguar. And I think that's a shame. Even if they had to do it, it's still a shame. This, to me, is what a Jag should look, feel, and drive like. Oh, Lordy. So yeah, this is another, look, this is out of the series of another car that I would own personally, and that is a very depleting list. I mean, so far this year it includes my Silverado, that old thing, the Datsun, and now this Jaguar. So it's when you're as old and cranky and miserable as I am, cars just don't do it for you the way they used to. So anyway, there it is, 2008 Jaguar XJ, long wheelbase, triple black. This thing is a sweetheart, and it can be picked up for peanuts. For peanuts, it's worth so much more than the cost. The sum of this car is just tremendously lovely and befitting a much higher price tag. If you have an interest, this one's for sale. You give Marty a call, 239-298-8000, on the web at aenaples.com. You won't be unhappy you did. This thing's a fun car to drive. You know, if I was going to buy like a Camry or something, I'd have to consider this. You're certainly going to get more response from the neighbors. Thank you very much for having a look. I appreciate it. I know we've been a little lax on videos this week, but we got some good stuff coming up. That Berlinetto, which is a miracle. It's an incredible car. That'll be coming up soon. We've got, I might do that R-Class if I get around to it. Over there we've got that Cougar, the TV detective Cougar, and I don't know, a few other bits and pieces coming up. So thank you very much for having a look. We appreciate it, and we'll see you with the next one. Take care.